will never not be weird. Okay. So I am going to read from some of my thoughts that I put out. I've been trying to find a way to share about this in a way that A, doesn't sound like a dick, and B, that is actually duplicatable. I want to share it in a way, and I am very intentional about how I share, knowing that I'm in a very different place in my business than new coaches, than really anybody, because those of you guys who are working the business, you haven't been here for 5.5 years. And like I literally say it all the time, the way that I build my business now is very different than when I built my business at the beginning. And I think that's really important to keep note of. So I've been trying to wrap my head around how can I share about this in a way that is actually valuable. So I'm actually going to read a lot from my actual notes that I took that I brain dumped down. And if you have any question, if you guys have any questions, feel free to unmute and just ask. I'm super transparent about the things that I do and the things that I have kiboshed, the things that I think are important versus the things that I think are a waste of time. I also am very, very honest about the things that I find I hear other coaches doing, or top coaches, or any coach that is above like the new coach kind of level. I'm very honest about the things that I think are a waste of time and whether or not you have to do them. So, versus the things that I think are actually valuable to you. So, I used to spend so many hours. Hang on, I'm just gonna split my screen 1 sec. Okay, so I used to spend literally way too many hours, especially in a day, let alone a week, on like doing work. And I say work because the work that I was actually doing was not actual work that needed to be done. But when I went full time into coaching, I ended up having all this time to do my work. And you don't even need to be a full-time coach in order to feel this way. But I felt like if I wasn't working, I was wrong, because I had this mindset that if I didn't have the business and the income that I truly was after, that was on my goal board, that was my vision, then I should have been working. And I was working myself into the ground. The problem was, I'm not like that. That's not my personality. My personality is very much seeking fun. I seek fun. I seek, I'm an Enneagram 7 literally to the core. I want spontaneous activities. I want date nights. I want play. I want travel. I want adventure. I want hobbies. I want multiple different avenues of work. I want so many different things. I don't like the same thing over and over. And so what I was finding myself doing was constantly doing and redoing so much different work. And I would literally fill my time with activities. I used to create things, recreate things for my business that already were in place. I used to make things that didn't actually add value to my team or to my clients or to my business. I used to try and come up with like super creative marketing tactics. I used to spend hours creating web pages for my website, or graphics, or freebie things for myself, or sorry, to like give away for my team or for my clients. I used to spend time making guides. I would spend time making tools for coaches to use. I've tried creating like different ways, unique ways of sharing the business opportunity. I used to create and spend hours, you guys, making pretty stories for my social media so that nobody could partake in them. And it sucks because at the time I wasn't admitting how long it was actually taking me to do all of that. And it never ended up doing anything for me. Like it really never ended up doing anything for me. And the only reason I did it was because I saw all of these other successful people doing it like that. And I thought that I had to do that too. So I stopped focusing on the things that I felt like I should do. And I started getting really frustrated. And then I started really resenting the business. I started resenting this work, this business, this job. I started resenting Kyle because I would look at him, and this was early in this year. This was literally just in January and February when I was making my vision board and trying to make all my visions come to fruition. I was resenting it. I was getting so angry. I was getting frustrated. And I don't know if anybody noticed, but there was a really good chunk of time that I really didn't talk about the business. I didn't talk about income. I didn't talk about coaching. I didn't talk about even boot camps. Like, I talked about so few things and just really talked about what was going on in my life, which really was hard. I lost my love for it. And it was because I would see Kyle be able to go, and you did notice this, I would see him doing his work and I would get really mad. I would get so mad thinking to myself, I have so much to do, thinking about all of those things that I used to spend my time doing. I have so much to do and I don't get to do it because now I have this new schedule. I have this tiny person who is consuming my all day, completely the opposite of when I had all day long to myself. It doesn't matter whether you have a child that is taking up your time or you have another job. You have, like Chantel, you have school, a job, this job, family, friends. You literally have a million things going on. I felt that. I was starting to feel that. And for like 2 years, I had all of my time to myself. I was doing full time. Like, I was just doing coaching. And even when I was doing my other jobs, I was still working so much on my coaching business because I felt like that's what I should be doing. I felt like that's what I had to be doing to make income, to rank advance, to do all of that. And so I would see him and I'd be like, this is annoying. This is frustrating. I didn't know how. I used to say it to him all the time. And for the first time as I was writing this, I'm like, wow, I feel like I could actually, help somebody. Now I feel like I'm in such a good place. Finally, now it's taken me so freaking long to get here, but I feel like I'm finally in a good place that I can say to you, here's how I'm doing it in a very small amount of time. And for a long time, I had no idea. I had no idea how to recruit a new coach and say, here, you need to do all these things, but you have no time to do it. And I'm proof that it can happen because I was not proof that it could happen. So what I started doing was activities that were not in the business that were making me happy. As part of like resenting the business, I kind of threw my middle finger up and I said, screw it. I'm doing things that make me happy and I'm not going to feel guilty about it. So I started planting. I started growing plants and learning about plants. I would spend my time, instead of doing invites and all of this, I would spend my time learning about plants. So I then created plants. Now I'm growing a whole bunch of things. I took on that little bathroom project and painted my bathroom and started to think about the things around my house that I wanted to do. We built a couch. Kyle and I spent time building a couch. Instead of when I had him available, instead of doing my business, I built a couch. And while I don't think that is, like, I'm not going to say whether it was right or wrong. At the time, it felt wrong, but I was so unapologetic about it because I was sort of at the point where I was like, screw this. I'm done. I don't know how to do this. I am just going to go and do something that makes me feel good. And then I started doing just other things. I started visiting friends. I started cleaning during the day. I started cooking again. I started, researching. I started doing all these things. And then obviously in the last month, I started a whole nother business. And in doing all of that, I found joy. I literally found so much happiness. And I started realizing how productive I could be with my time. The other things that I would do is actually do things that I said I was going to do. I would make appointments. I always delay making appointments. I would go to appointments. I would like do things around the house that I said I was going to do. I would clean. And when I say clean, I mean like, you know, the things that are just always cluttered, or you have, I wipe down like my kitchen, I wipe down everything. Like the things that you don't do on a day-to-day basis, I started doing that more frequently. I started putting my time in doing the things that in my mind I say to myself, man, I wish I could do that. I just started doing them. I would just do them. I would go for more walks. Now I go for a walk in the morning. I go for a walk in the evening. Sometimes I go out during the day with kids. I go and play. Like I'm doing so many things outside of my business. And what ended up happening was when I got to do my business work, or when I had the time to do it in my schedule that I created for myself, which is a very low key schedule. But when I did my work for Beachbody, I felt good about it. I had fun with it. I was excited to go and have conversations and share something on my stories and invite to a new group. I was actually happy to go and do the work because I knew that I could do both. It was proving to me, going to do all of these things that were bringing me so much joy, it was proving to me that I could have a life outside of Beachbody. And so I say all of this because so many of you guys have outside lives and you're trying to figure out, how do I fit Beachbody into this? How do I work this business? Feeling and thinking to yourself, there's so much to do, because you see all of these coaches posting about all of these things that they're doing, this big, beautiful business that you see. You're thinking to yourself, how do I fit that into my life? I want to tell you that whatever feels good for you to do and makes you money is the right way to do it. I don't personally think that you need to have all of the big fancy things in order to be successful. So things that I started eliminating, I stopped recreating the wheel. I stopped making extra tools. I stopped, because while it's really nice to be like, here, I made this tool for you guys as a team. New coaches can go and use this. Nobody was using it. Literally, I would spend multiple hours of my time creating, graphics or tools or guides or whatever, and nobody was using it. I would go in and create videos. Nobody was watching them, and it was just so frustrating to spend my time doing something for just the people who I was already talking to on a daily basis. Like the worst part is when I would create things or make a video or do something for the two of you guys who are literally always on the calls. I've already talked about this with you guys. Do you know what I mean? And so the way that I found I best worked with my coaches, it always has been this way. I don't know why it took me 5 years to realize and fight it. I do best with one-on-one. And so I created that podcast that has been working with me since 2019. That podcast is what I provide to people. It's my way of saying, here, I'm providing all of the tools that are all of the information that you need to get started. Let's jump on a call and answer all of these questions, or send me some voice notes and I will get to them between my crazy busy life, between my crazy busy schedule. You are A-okay to have a busy schedule and to not answer somebody within the first 5 minutes of them sending you a question. It's okay. You are allowed to recruit coaches and also take a day or two to get back to them. Okay. It took me a long time to really be able to accept that. I used to work so freaking much. And if you know, there's most times, I would say 80%, 90% of the time, I'm answering my messages pretty quickly within the day, no matter what it is. Right? And I just couldn't do that anymore. During that time of saying screw you to myself and my business, I found that there's so much life outside of my Beachbody business, and that my business can fit into my life instead of my life trying to revolve around my business. And so the things that I stopped doing was recreating all of those things. I stopped worrying about trying to make pretty things for my stories, for my Instagram, for the team, for graphics, for the HLC. I just create the things that matter. So the things that I do are I create the leaderboards, I create the banners for my groups, I am sending check-in messages to my coaches and to my clients. I'm checking into my coach office. I am checking on the downline and other people's downlines and just touching base with people. For new coaches, doing one-on-one calls. For new coach or for regular coaches, like especially for coaches who are wanting to work the business and have questions, we get on a call. That's the way that I have found I can do my best work and works for me. It's what I like to do. It's what brings me joy. The other things that I do are I go and tag, instead of recreating a training or coming on and doing a training on something that the Beachbody, corporate team has already done, just sharing that instead. Sharing other team calls, sharing something that somebody else has written instead of trying to do it myself. What I was feeling like was, well, I'm not a successful coach. I'm not a good leader. I'm not doing it right if I'm not doing it myself, if I'm taking the words from somebody else. Truth is, it didn't make me any more money than what is making me right now. And that's just the fact of the matter. You can choose, you can decide what feels good for you. You can decide, hang on one second. You can decide, if having a website feels good to you, then have a website. But if having a website is just to keep up with everybody else having a website and a form to fill out, like, people still to this day don't fill out my forms. I had a few people, and when I was talking about filling out forms, I still think that it's valuable to start out as a new coach to have those forms, because if it works, that's awesome. But should you pound yourself and get frustrated or try and push these forms if naturally you're signing people up in the messages? No. So what I ended up doing was working very strategically. So here's what I do. I look at my day and I have set designated tasks that I do on specific days. Number one is Monday. Monday is team call. Monday is catching up, setting up for the week. Mondays are super busy for me. I end up getting a lot of Beachbody work done on Mondays. I don't have time to do my other business. I don't have time to do, a hobby or go somewhere. Sometimes I do. Like this morning, I was able to get out and play in the dirt a little bit. But most Mondays, I don't have that opportunity. Mondays are not a day that I take a shower. Mondays are not a day that I do my hair or that I get ready. They're not that day. Mondays are a lot. Mondays are Beachbody. Wednesdays are my other days that are Beachbody. That is the day where recently in the last month, I think it was in May, I literally had to have Kyle take a week of vacation because I was drowning so much in all of this that I just couldn't do it anymore. I was like, I need you. I need you to take a week off. I need a break from being mom every single day trying to run this business. It's not working. And during that week is when I re-recorded the new training podcast, and I freaking crushed that week. I was on fire. I was lit up again. I was so excited. Why? Because I didn't have a freaking tiny human crawling around trying to do this business. I had dedicated couple of hours at a chunk of time to get my work done. And after that, once she needed me, or I couldn't work for 8 hours in the day. So once I took my couple of hours in the morning, the rest of the day I had fun. I went and did things that were energetic to me, and I moved forward. And that's it. If something didn't get done that day, it didn't get done. It got pushed over to the next day. But I was doing the things that were necessary. And so in that, we ended up creating, and this is what works for us, find a alternative that works for you. Maybe you do it in the same way. Maybe you do it on a different day at a different time. Maybe you do it completely different altogether. But what works for us is every Wednesday, Kyle takes the first 3 hours off from his work. Now, he has that flexibility. Maybe your partner doesn't have that flexibility. Maybe you have to ask a parent, or maybe you have to ask your partner when they get home from work to take over on the kids. Or you have to ask your partner, your significant other, to literally give you a time during the week at some day, one day of the week. It's just your time to work on your business. And those are really the only 2 days that I really work on my business. The rest of the days, I am not pushing myself and stressing about getting certain things done. So during the day, when I am working in between the pockets of time, and it's an absolute shit show and zoo around here, and I can't commit to anything unless I have somebody designated to watch Kins, I am literally just talking to people. If I get on my stories, I get on my stories. That's obviously always a goal. I am talking about how health is looking in my day-to-day in my life. And I'm literally sharing the real and honest life that I'm personally living and connecting with other people in that. I'm not trying to just talk about a promotion or a business just because everybody in Beachbody is telling me to talk about it. I just don't think that is necessary. I think that obviously it's your due diligence if you want to run a successful business to know the things that are going on, but I don't think you need to market every single thing that's going on. Does that make sense? And so I was drowning myself in trying to keep up with every single launch, every single time, all the time in my crazy busy life. It doesn't work. And this is relatable to the people who are insanely busy, who cannot keep up with every single thing that is going on, okay? That's what I'm trying to say. All I am trying to say is you don't have to do every single thing. Do what makes you feel good. Do what you can during the day and feel good about it. The kicker, the trigger is, are you making money from it? If you're not making money from it, stop doing it. If you are making money from it, then it's working. I think that's at the end of the day, do the activities that are making you income. If you're not making income, then change up the activities that you're doing. I just stopped filling my time working, and I'm working fewer hours now, having more growth and consistency than I ever have in all of my time. And the most important thing is that I feel really freaking good doing it. I go to bed at night feeling excited. I wake up every single morning ready to drink my Energize, ready to talk about it, proudly ready to preach that I'm a Beachbody coach, proudly ready to represent this company, because I took the pressure off of needing to build a business that every other top coach has just because I have big goals. I started doing only the things that were actually necessary, because at the end, really, the activities that I ended up discovering were helpful and necessary were the activities that I could get done and I was seeing income. So I just stopped doing the extras. And while I would love to do the extras, I would love to, package up and write thank you cards to every single person, write a love note to every single person. I don't have the time to do that. Does that make me a bad coach? I don't think so, but maybe somebody else thinks so. Maybe somebody else values other certain things more than I do. It's my business and it's your business. So if you want to do those specific details and they fit in your day and you find joy doing them, then great. But if you don't feel happy and excited to do that activity and you're seeing an income from doing those things, then stop doing it. If you are stopping yourself from taking action in the business, if you're stopping yourself from doing anything every single day or every single week, if you're stopping yourself thinking, I can't do it all, so I can't do it at all, then you're kicking yourself because you're leaving the opportunity on the table. Some days I work maybe an hour collectively throughout the day. Other days I work 4+ hours. On Wednesday, I am working from pretty much 8 o'clock until 2 o'clock. I get a whole whack of things done. Things that I'm doing, if you're wondering, like, what the hell do you do on Wednesdays? I will start posting what I'm doing every Wednesday on my batch day. So maybe your batch day, if that's what you want to do, is one day on the weekend. Maybe you have 2 hours that you're dedicated to doing Beachbody work. That work can be your extras. It can be the creating a graphic for your social media, or creating a graphic, the banner for your boot camp. But like, you guys, you don't need all of these fancy things to run a boot camp. You need to plunk people into a bod group, and you need to help them and cheer for them. That's what people are looking for. I do most of my coaching for my clients in personal messages. That's where most of my work is. I am talking to my clients, cheering for them, asking them how they're doing, because not everybody posts in a bod group. That's what I'm spending my time doing. So if you are worried that you don't know how to run a group or create all of these fancy graphics, then don't do that. Put people into a group and talk to them. It's okay to run it however feels good for you. Things that I think are important to do in your business if you want to grow a client base is running a boot camp. I do think that it is very valuable and important to be a coach running a boot camp. Whether you are on the coach panel running the boot camp in the virtual studio, or you are running your own boot camp and you're the one putting out content. That's essentially what I mean. You are the one saying, hey, come and join my boot camp. We are doing this together. We're doing this. That puts you in a position that says, I'm a coach, you can join me. Okay? More people are going to want to do that. I think that that's valuable. If you want to grow a team, I think that it is extremely valuable for you to have your own team page. I really do think that it's extremely valuable for you to be shouting out your team. One person, maybe it's not every single week. Maybe it is every single week. If you have the time and you can get that done every single week, amazing. Maybe it's once a month. Maybe it's twice a month. But do what you can do and pay attention to people. And then from there, where you need to be spending your time is not in Canva, but in your messages. Talking to the clients that you already have, asking them how you can help them, cheering for them, congratulating them. If you don't have any clients, it's time to go get some. How do you help people? You share what you're doing. Get on your stories and talk about how this is fitting into your life. You don't need to be a preacher. You don't need to be you don't only need to be coach. You can take yourself off of the pedestal. The only person that's putting you on that pedestal is yourself. You're expecting that you have to be this much higher than everybody else. You can be a coach and provide value while also being a regular human. Talk about the things that bring you joy. At the end of the day, that's what made the shift for me. I started doing the things that brought me joy, and I started talking about them. And in that, I realized, holy crap, I don't have to talk about Beachbody every single day. I don't have to talk about drinking my superfoods every single day. I don't have to talk about drinking my Energize every single day. They're going to see me drinking it. Because while I'm talking about my new business, I'm drinking my Energize, they're going to see it. Do you know how many messages for the first time in a long time I have had asking me what my Energize is? Because I get on and I make it with Kins because it's fun for me, not because it's a marketing tactic. That's just the shift in my head that I needed to make. I stopped looking at every single thing as a marketing tactic and just started doing things that I wanted to do. Every single day I ask myself, is this something that's going to make me feel good? And if it's not, I don't do it. I answer my messages. I try and clear my inbox every single day. If I don't freak out. I try and get to it the next day. And if I don't get to it the next day, it gets done on Wednesday. When I am on my social media, I am more focused on creating content that I have the ability to engage or get people to know me better, or I'm just simply engaging with people. I'm not stressing about getting a post up every single day anymore. I don't have the time. Do I think that it is extremely valuable if you can get a post up every single day? Yes, 1000%. It's not realistic for me. There is not a way that I can commit or ensure that every single day I'm getting a post up, because thanks to Chantel, I have learned that you can't post and ghost. You can't post on your social media and walk away and expect there to be any outcome from that post. So instead, I have shifted and I have started putting more focus on engaging with people. And if I have a good stretch of like 20 minutes to myself, I will put up a post and engage with people before and after. If I don't have that 20 minutes to put up a post and engage, I am just engaging. For 5 minutes during whatever time is happening, I'm engaging with people. Otherwise, I'm just talking on my stories. I'm sharing in the workouts that I'm doing. I'm talking about, what program I'm doing, what I'm doing, what my goals are. I am not trying to hide my least favorite thing that I ever started doing was tippy-toeing around the word Beachbody, because everybody says, don't talk about Beachbody. They can just Google it. And while I think that is accurate, I'm going to proudly talk about Beachbody, because the likelihood that people are going to Google Beachbody is pretty minimal. And if they want to Google it, they can. But if they're going to see me, they're going to ask me about it. Now, I'm not splatting up, graphics about Beachbody, but I am saying things like I'm doing Beachbody on demand, or I love my Beachbody on demand platform to do my workouts. I love the convenience of this. I love drinking my Shakeology. I love drinking my Energize, things like that. I am not trying to come up with something creative to talk about it. I communicate what I need to get done with Kyle and with my parents, his parents. I am open about it. I am like, nope, I am doing my work for 1 whole hour at this time. If I have a meeting, if we've got something scheduled, it is blocked off in my calendar and somebody has Kinsley. I am not trying to get on and do it without having somebody available. If I have to get on a call with Kinsley, like earlier today, then I have a plan. I have a plan on how am I going to occupy this child so that I can be productive and do my work. And she's just entertained. There's always, I'm constantly thinking about the multiple options because the day is so busy. I hope this is making sense. Again, this is the first time that I've really been able to put my thoughts into words to try and explain how I have been seeing great success in the last multiple months, but really in the last month and a half, feeling good about doing all of my life things at the same time as my business, feeling the ability to expand and have another business now and not sacrificing my Beachbody business. My Beachbody business pays our bills. I can't stop doing Beachbody just because I started a new business. That is not the case. That new business gets to start because it's something I'm excited about doing because I have this business. I can't do those things until I've done the work here. So the way that I would encourage you to fit this into your life is thinking, how does it serve you? Or if you want to start out and it's just something fun, kind of like my other business, if it's something fun for you, think about the goals that you can have. Make realistic goals. My first goal for my other business is to make $1,000 with the pre-sale. That's it. That's the only goal. It's not to create a 6-figure business with that business so that I can replace this. It's literally, if I can make $1,000 with pre-sale, if there's $1,000 worth sold, that would be so freaking cool. That's what I'm focused on. I'm not looking at how to go above and beyond and later. I'm not afraid to work hard, but I'm just focused on that. So put that as your goal. For this, my goal is to hit Success Club. If I can hit Success Club in July, that'd be freaking amazing. Once you do that, you will realize the tasks that it took to get to hit Success Club really was not impossible. And then you can just do that over and over. You don't have to run yourself into the ground creating work for yourself, because really at the end of the day, this business does not take that much time. Definitely not as much time as everybody portrays it to take. And there really is enough time in the day to have another job or to have something else going on, to be a full-time mom, to be a full-time worker. There's so much time in the day. If you are diligent and you use it right and you do the things that make you feel good, you absolutely can grow your business. So I hope in some capacity that you're gathering the points that I'm trying to make about this. But all I want to say is work less, make more. It's really okay that you're not working your Beachbody business every single day for multiple hours a day. Okay. I'm going to stop the recording.